Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to the Florence Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. My name is Sally Watts. For those of you who don't know, you might be here for the first time, we stand on the land of the first people of Florence, the Siuslaw Indians, for whom we honor and give thanks to those people 7 generations worth, 3 past, the current, and 3 in the future. We thank them for what they have provided for us in this particular time. Thank you and blessed be. We're going to open our service today by singing Spirit of Life. It's number 123 in your hymnal. The words are in the program. If you don't need the hymnal, Jeff's going to lead us in this wonderful song, Spirit of Life. Rise as you're able and you want to, and let's sing Spirit of Life. It's how we open our Sundays. We got the Latin mix.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all stirs of passion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, give me life, the shame of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
Oh, thank you, Jeff. Thank you, thank you. Thank you to our musicians. We love you, love you, love you. So, announcements. I want to remind you, myself included, to turn off your cell phones or those nasty devices that make noises at the least opportune time. Let's see, mine is now turned off. Do we have anybody here for the first time? And I think we do, Joanne. And Donna's going to introduce Joanne.
Yes, this is my dear friend Joanne Pico. She goes to the Unitarian Church in Roseburg, and she wanted to come and join us today to meet all of you.
Very nice. Welcome. Anybody else for the first time? So Joanne, we would like to leave you, we haven't even left yet. We'd like to give you our book of wonderful haiku meditations, a little brochure about our fellowship, and one of our fabulous bumper stickers.
Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you, Donna, for bringing Joanne. Thank you. So, before we get much farther, why don't you turn to the person next to you, behind you, in front of you, and just say good morning? Good morning. Just morning. It's a neat morning.
I went to a physical therapist.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Shoulder surgery. I said, that's surgery. No, this is in Prescott, Arizona.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, all good.
That wasn't too painful, was it?
Good morning, baby.
So if doing that, you notice someone is not here today that you thought might be or you're missing, reach out. Give them a call. Send them an email. Knock on the door. Go. Not right now, George. Later, okay? So just reach out to them and let them know you noticed they weren't here today and you missed it, okay?
Should we get my cookie, please?
We can give I'm going to go there in a minute. George Regato, he's just being a good you-er today. I want to give special thanks to Diana and Ashley, who are the intrepid greeters today. Yay! To the two of you. And let's see, following Reverend Donna's talk today, Catherine will be available for affirmative prayer off in the side room here. And Donna will be available for this dialogue circle that we do every Sunday. We'll be in the library. I've got the heater going in there, so it's nice and toasty hot. And followed by that, she's got a class called Raising Consciousness, and everyone is invited to attend, okay? Just head to the library shortly after service has concluded and meet up with Donna. 2 things I want to mention. Notable among them is tomorrow's MLK Day of Action at City Hall from noon to 1. to honor MLK Jr. and demand our elected officials pass the Freedom to Vote Act and the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act. Everyone who has the right to vote must have access to the ballot this and all future years. FOOF does not take a political stance, so that's my personal announcement, just so you know. We have Soul Matters class with Ruth Miller happening on Tuesday. It's in your program. I'm going to look. Tuesday the 18th at 5:15. If you'd like to participate in this virtual class, it's a wonderful opportunity to go deep on our theme this month, which is living with intentions. And if you don't have the packet, the workbook that goes with this, send us an email and we'll forward it to you, because we'd love to have you join us on Tuesday at 5:15, okay? And then we're going to be hiking at the, what do they call it, Cape Mountain, the Blue Horizon from Horse Camp. If you know where that is, great. If not, be here at 10 o'clock and you all can carpool or caravan up there or down there. Thank you. Next Sunday we have Dr. Russ Pearson. You may recall, Russ has been with us many times over the years. He is the Dean of the LCC Florence campus and a fabulous guy. And he's got a special message next week about, I think it's widening the circle. So it should be a very good message, right, Ruth?
Of intention.
Widening the circle of intention. So you know it's going to be good. And then Mark and his cronies have a climate change event happening on the 23rd from 2 to 4 at St. Andrew's Episcopal Church. This is an informative forum. And you can see the flyer I have up here now. This is your reminder to join and be a part of that with Mark and the people he's put together for this. Should be very informative. And if you've seen the movie Don't Look Up, you'll know how critical this is. Don't not look up.
We're not showing that film.
Don't show that film.
We're showing a different film.
Okay. So, are there any other announcements? I think Tuvi and I have a quick announcements we're going to make. We have a little responsive reading, but Tuvi is going to preface it with a preface. So I'll stand here, you stand there. You take the microphone.
I'm good for that.
No?
No, you're good.
No.
Right behind you.
We're recording. It's right behind you. Push it up.
You can handle it.
There you go.
All right,
All right.
we're kosher now.
We're kosher.
Martin Luther King was indeed tall in stature and stateliness, like a tree. And like a tree, MLK's roots of justice and freedom are firmly entrenched into the spine of the human spirit, as was so eloquently presented in the TV series Roots several years ago. Martin touched humanity with his strong voice and mind to point the way towards equal rights for all, like branches reaching into the air to bring oxygen to breathe. The "I've got a dream" message brings hope to humanity. Let us all be firmly entrenched with roots, a strong spine, and branches that reach into the air. Let us all breathe.
Martin Luther King had a vision.
We shall overcome.
Martin's voice was the human conscience for justice and equality.
I have a dream.
The movement for freedom and future is a human right.
Let every voice sing.
The world is a colorful tapestry of customs, cultures, ideas, and beliefs.
We all smile in the same language.
Let the bells of freedom ring with joy for every soul.
We are one with the world.
Martin dedicated his life to the most endearing causes.
We are strong and focused on what is important.
MLK was all about human rights, like trees, that bring the planet life-sustaining oxygen.
We are strong and growing together into a bright future.
Get up, go forward, and do something good.
Hey, it's Tu B'Shvat. It's the celebration of the trees. Give food, do a nice deed, volunteer, plant a tree.
We are a community of life, love, and compassion.
Thank you, Martin Luther King, for inspiring heart, mind, spirit, and soul. Together.
Let us
breathe. Let us breathe. Let us breathe.
Thank you. I just want you to know that Tuvia created that on his own, and I so appreciate the effort that he put forth in that. Thank you, Tuvia. Before, I just want to remind everybody, we have a campaign that FOOF is sponsoring. It's called We Care. You can see the container up front here with the big We Care heart. This is part of Darlene's passion, lover, Judy Plummery, and others. So if you want to bring some goodies each week, I stopped and got a 12-pack of Oreo minis. It's making my stomach, I'm hungry, but I'm going to put it in here. So today, next week, every week for a while, if you want to bring a contribution to put into this container, please do so. And we'll get it to the We Care people, who will then put it into baskets, and they're going into our schools. Is that right? To the break rooms at the schools. Just Science-Law, right? You're not going to Mapleton. Just Science-Law schools. So thank you. This is another way that FOOF really steps up in our community. It's not just about collecting money. It's about giving of our resources and helping those that we really, really care about. So thank you, Darlene. Thank you, Judy. Any other announcements? Okay. There's a chalice leading I'd like to share with you, and I need a volunteer to help light this in a minute. Rebecca Savage, Reverend Rebecca Savage, is a woman of color and has developed a series of readings for our chalice lighting. Today's is called What is the Promise and the Practice? Number 1. As a prelude, let me share what Reverend Rebecca had to say. Quote, "What is the promise and the practice? It's a turning moment, a choice to listen deeply to the stories in our movement that have not been heard and taken to heart by all Unitarian Universalists. It's a lamenting of what our UU tradition and congregations have lost by being unable or unwilling to center people of color, or even at times to merely include them. The promise and the practice is a celebration of our shared community and our commitment to live into a new chapter in the story of our UU faith." So I invite someone who is daring enough to come up and light our flame. Come on up. Come on up, Kathleen. Okay. We light our flaming chalice as a beloved people, united in love and thirsting for restorative justice. May it melt away the tethers that uphold whiteness in our midst. May it spark in us a spirit of humility. May it ignite in us radical love that transforms our energy into purposeful action. This is a chalice of audacious hope. The chalice shines a light on our shared past, signaling our intention to listen deeply, reflect wisely, and move boldly toward our highest ideals. Blessed be. We have a responsive reading. I selected this one this morning. It's number 661 in your hymnal, and it's called The Heart Knoweth by Emerson. So if you'll turn to 661 and do the responsive reading in the italics, I will appreciate it. Number 661. The Heart Knoweth. We have a great deal more kindness than is ever spoken.
The whole human family is bathed in the fountain of love like a fine ether.
How many persons we meet in houses whom we scarcely speak to, whom yet we honor, and who honor us?
How many we see in the street or sit with in church, whom though silently we warmly rejoice to be with.
Read the language of these wandering eye-beams.
Our heart knoweth.
I invite Catherine to come on up. We have our wonderful joys and concerns. Come on up, Catherine.
Sally, you will drop a shell when necessary here. This is the time of the service where we share our joys and concerns. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Thank you for all of you who show up. I know this is a really trying time sometimes, and I really appreciate it. We all do. Why do we do this, joys and concerns? To keep in touch with the community we live in. To live within this concept we call community. Community is a living, a breathing concept that we bring into reality with our thoughts, words, and actions. The more we contribute to this concept in our highest imagination, our highest octave of love, acceptance, forgiveness, caring, and kindness, the more we live in creative grace. We are God, or good, if you don't like the God word, I don't always either. We are good in action, and we are never alone. Does anyone have anything to share? As you know,
I can bring the microphone to you.
Okay.
Right? You hold it right next to your mask.
This isn't a Jack and Luke story. Some of you here know them. A lot of you don't. They're my grandchildren. It had been 2 years since I had been able to see them in their activities and sports. Last month, Jack was playing a basketball game. It was the first time again, the 2 years that I had seen him, and he was incredible. He used to be, well, let's say not aggressive, but now he is 12 and missing the game for so long, the competition, he was unbelievably good. My grandson Luke was a gold medal winner in jiu-jitsu. He also could not compete for 2 years. I was scheduled to see him this month, but of course the tournament got canceled because of the COVID issues. The joy was watching them and speaking to them. The sadness is how much these young folks are missing in their lives. And fortunately, these boys have parents that keep them on the right track. They work out every day. They run miles every day to stay fit. They do their work, their homework. They're both bright. But still, it's the humanity, their peers, not being with them, not being able to communicate other than with phones, which are not quite the same. Thank you.
I'm going to drop a big shell for the two of them, okay? It's good to hear stories of your kids again.
We have a joy. We do. We finally got in our house. Thank you for all of your help.
Congratulations!
Thank you.
Yay.
Come spring.
So, last week there was a concern expressed for the health of Reverend Donna Reynolds from the Episcopal Church. I'm happy to report that she's recovering well from her procedure, did not have COVID, and she'll be back in the office tomorrow at the church. And as Sally mentioned, we will be there, we meaning the climate change panel discussion on Sunday, a week from today, from 2 to 4. Reverend Don has requested that everyone bring the best masks you can find. What is it, KN95s? If you can, yeah. And I have one from Peace Health. If you have a Peace Health, they're 3-ply, so they're pretty good. And that everyone be vaccinated. So hope to see as many of you as possible then next week.
drop a shell for you. Okay.
Trade your places. All right. I missed you all for a couple weeks.
We missed you.
Thank you.
Yes.
As I put it, sometimes the garbage builds up and you got to take time to take it out, and that's kind of what the couple weeks was about. Is that I could feel it over a couple years now, not addressing things, and it came to bear, and the garbage overflowed, and so kind of did a Alice's restaurant sort of thing, and one big pile instead of several small piles.
You want to drop several shells or one?
Just one.
Just one. Here's the garbage. Has anybody seen our landfill? Not our landfill, but our place up here. What's it called? The drop center. Where you take your trash? Oh, it's a fabulous place. Speaking of trash, garbage. That's a whole other stuff.
My conscience told me to come up here and share this with you. You might be aware of the hostage situation yesterday at the Jewish congregation in Texas.
Yeah.
It wasn't just an affront on the Jewish people, it was an affront on everybody. And we are all minorities. The point is hate versus love. I am very sorry that this guy that came in there with all these problems ended his life. So my thought is, Martin Luther King had a dream. It is up to all of us to make sure that that dream comes true.
Thank you, Tubi. I'll drop a shell there for you.
And I have something. I have a couple things. An update on Rhema Davis. She is out of ICU, thank goodness. She had a very rough week. And she will probably be moved to the rehabilitation center. I can't get that word right. Avmira? Anyway, it's close enough. I'll have the address. We'll put it in. This week sometime. Also, her little dog Tack. I've been looking for a foster. And Ashley has told me today that they are going to try it out at their house, like they don't have enough to do.
And they don't. They just moved in. They're done.
All right, yeah, right. Thank you very, very much, both of you.
This is for Rhema.
Uh-huh.
And this is for Tack.
This is for TAC? Yes, yes. And one final one for all those we don't know about. You can say your joy or concern quietly to yourself. You are included in our circle of love. Blessed be.
Well, our fabulous musician, Mr. Jeff Lovejoy, has decided we're going to be singing our opening hymn number 38, which is Morning Has Broken. Great selection. So if you would open to your hymnal to number 38, rise as you are able or you want to, and we're going to sing hymn number 38. Got it? Do you want to go up here and sing it louder than the rest of us, or are you going to stay where you are? Yes. Okay. stones have been tossed by the wind and washed by the water and polished to brilliance by life's strongest storms. These words by an unknown author are the introduction to our service today called White Stone Ceremony. Please welcome Reverend Donna Smith to our pulpit.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I prayed for sun. Yes, a lot of you did too. But our prayers were answered. Well, today we're going to participate in what's called the White Stone Ceremony. And traditionally that follows the burning bowl ceremony, which Catherine so beautifully led us through last month, which I really wanted to come, but guess what, it snowed. And so, but I did watch it on YouTube and it was beautiful. Thank you very much, Catherine. And since our theme this month is intention, it falls right into it, because that's what this is all about. So I want to begin with a story by Paulo Coelho. It's called The Fisherman and the Businessman. There once was a businessman who was sitting by the beach in a small Brazilian village. As he sat, he saw a Brazilian fisherman rowing a small boat towards the shore, having caught quite a few fish. The businessman was impressed and asked the fisherman, "How long does it take you to catch so many fish?" The fisherman replied, "Oh, just a short while." "Then why don't you stay longer at sea and catch even more?" The businessman was astonished. "This is enough to feed my whole family," the fisherman said. The businessman then asked, "So what do you do with the rest of your day?" And the fisherman replied, "Well, I usually wake up early in the morning, go out to sea, and catch a few fish. Then I go back and play with my kids. In the afternoon, I take a nap with my wife. And when evening comes, I join my buddies in the village for a drink. We play guitar, sing, and dance throughout the night." The businessman offered a suggestion to the fisherman. "I'm a PhD in business management. I could help you to become a more successful person. From now on, you should spend more time at sea and try to catch as many fish as possible. When you have saved enough money, you could buy a bigger boat and catch even more fish. Soon you will be able to afford to buy more boats, set up your own company, your own production plant for canned food, and a distribution network. By then, you will have moved out of this village and into Sao Paulo, where you can set up headquarters to manage your other branches." The fisherman continues, "And after that?" The businessman laughs heartily. "After that, you can live like a king in your own house, and when the time is right, you can go public and float your shares in the stock exchange, and you will be rich." And the fisherman asks, "After that?" The businessman says, "After that, you can finally retire. You can move to a house by the fishing village, wake up early in the morning, catch a few fish, then return home to play with your kids, have a nice afternoon nap with your wife, and when evening comes, you can join your buddies for a drink. Play the guitar, singing and dance throughout the night." And the fisherman was puzzled. "Isn't that what I'm doing now?" I love this story. It has a lot of lessons in it. However, the one that's most important to me is, this is a story about the ego and our divine wisdom. Okay? Now, the ego is represented by the businessman. This is, you know, there's no judgment here, okay? This ego has for generations taught us that we have to work very hard to have anything in the world. We have to make lots of money. We have to be respectable and have a respectable career in order to be anybody. We must have 2 cars, 2 houses, or even more in order to be somebody. And the bigger is the better. But efforting is its major message. Efforting is not a word in the dictionary, it's one I made up. Every time I type it, there's a little red line under it, but that's okay, I love the word. Burn the midnight oil if you have to. Pop those no-dos if you have to stay awake. But work, 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 work until you get, so that you can be somebody. You must work hard so that someday you can retire and enjoy your life. How many people are so spent by the time it comes to retirement that they're really not enjoying their life? Or how many people have moved into unhealthy positions and find it very difficult to enjoy their lives? The Dalai Lama, when asked what surprised him most about humanity, he answered, man. Because he sacrifices his health in order to make money, then he sacrifices money to recuperate his health. And then he is so anxious about the future that he does not enjoy the present. The result being that he does not live in the present or the future. He lives as if he's never going to die, and then dies having never lived. Now the fisherman, on the other hand, represents divine wisdom to me. Living life in the present moment, which is really the only moment we have. You know, the past is gone, the future's not here. So we really miss out on life if we don't live in the present moment. So, while the ego believes in efforting, efforting is the antithesis of creation. Okay? Creation is flow. Creation is trust and faith in yourself and in your higher self to take you to your greatest desires and to have the most enjoyable life that you can. And that does take trust and faith. Abraham, channeler through Esther Hicks, describes life as a river. Okay? When you enter that river of life with your canoe, you can paddle your canoe upstream or you can paddle it downstream. If you are paddling upstream, you are going against the flow of life and you are working very, very hard to keep that canoe pointed upstream. And why? Because that's what we've been taught. That's what the egos have taught us for many generations. But Abraham says there is nothing that you want upstream. Nothing. Everything you want is downstream. Okay, and if you turn your canoe and you start flowing with the river of life, it will take you to everything you've ever desired. Now, I believe that is exactly what the fisherman had already accomplished. He was very happy, wasn't he? He had everything. He was enjoying his family, his friends, and why would he take that circular thing right back to what he already had, with all that work and everything involved? You know, he was living his divine wisdom. Now, Abraham also said, we did not come forth to get things done. We came forth to dream and move toward our dreams. And we as humanity need a new way, don't we? You know, the past ego-driven life has not worked out well for us. And I think we can all agree in today's environment that that's the case. I mean, we have a lot of sick people. We have a world that is filled with stress right now. So why not turn your canoe around and go downstream? That is my message today for you. And as we enter the White Stone ceremony, I want you to really think about your passions, your desires. And I want you to hold those in your heart. And when you're in your heart, you are being guided by your higher self. And I also want you to know that when you're flowing in life downstream and you're going to your heart for your guidance, there is no struggle. We didn't come forth to struggle. Never meant to struggle. And yet we're struggling. But struggle is not necessary. But it also requires that we change our thinking and we change our consciousness. And how do we do that? We have to do it with ourselves first. And as I've said, I know many times to you that once we change ourselves, that's what we're reflecting out into the world. And as we do that, that's how we help others. That's how we help the world. Because the world is a reflection of our consciousness. So today, I'm going to guide you through the White Stone Ceremony. We will have a meditation and some time to ask your heart, what is the most important thing for us, or for me? What is my passion? What is my desire? And then we will have a time of silence. And I'm going to pass out a stone, a white stone for you. And this stone, you can write on that stone what your heart tells you. Also, that stone has many sides. You can write on all of them. You can write as much as you want, okay? But you also need to be very honest with yourself. Self-honesty is very important. Now, the universe knows you. And that's why it's really important to be honest, because it will know if you're not being honest. And it responds very quickly to honesty. And it brings the resources to you faster than you can blink your eyes. When you are honest, you let the universe know what you want. If the universe doesn't really know if you're going back and forth, how can it possibly bring you what you want when you don't even know what you want? Now, your heart knows, okay? So why even try to be anything but honest? They already know. Now, conscious change is brought about by two qualities inherent in consciousness: intention and attention. Now, with attention and intention, you will get manifestation. Attention, A, plus intention, I, equals manifestation, M. A-I-M. AIM. Okay? That's an easy one to remember, isn't it? So whatever you put your attention on will grow in your life. Whatever you take your attention away from will disappear in your life. Okay, that's the way it works. So that's why, and I know you've heard me say this many times, always think about what you want. The universe, because of free will give you what you're thinking about. So I'm reminded of Mother Teresa, who was asked to march in an anti-war. She said, no, if you want a peace march, I'll be there. Because if you're marching in an anti-war march, what's on your mind? War. So you're not helping at all, because that's what you're thinking about. So that's how that works. That's kind of like a law, a universal law. But think how powerful you can be if you can be honest with yourself and give the universe exactly what you want. It's exciting, actually. And if you should waver, and I do, and this is what I do, I just say, cancel, cancel, cancel that thought, and then replace it with what you want. So it's no big deal. You've got to be very gentle with yourself.
Want to start?
Okay, so here is a basket of white stones.
You'll take one and pass it down?
Yes, please. And take one, and I think you all have marking pens. I brought marking pens today because they write on the white stones very well. And I hope that yours works. I didn't go through and check each one of them, so if you need another one, raise your hand and we can give you another one. And so while we're doing this, I want to just tell you about these white stones. These stones are dolomite limestone, and they are hand cut. And they come from two places, Bethlehem and Hebron. And Hebron is where I understand that the matriarchs and patriarchs they actually live there and are buried there. And that's Abraham and Sarah, Jacob and Rebekah, and Isaac and Leah. It's also the place where King David was crowned the king of Israel. But most importantly, what these white stones represent is freedom. Because in those days, when the prisoners were released from prison, they were given a white stone. So this white stone is freedom. And I think it's very appropriate for this month's focus on intention, because what you're doing with this white stone is writing your intention. What is your intention? Is it for peace? Is it for joy? Is it for non-judgment? What is it in your heart that really speaks to your heart? And I suppose if you want a Ferrari, you can put that on there too. You know, if you're being honest with yourself, you know, it doesn't matter. But be honest. That's what's important. So I want you to hold that stone in your hand because we're going to bless it. Okay? So we're going to bless these stones as a symbol of our intention to take back our power and to be free to create the life that we desire. So as you hold this white stone, let it represent all that is new and good and holy and beautiful in your heart. Be willing to love yourself deeply and allow your deepest desires to come forward and ask your heart knows. So before we go into the silence, I want to lead us into that with a poem by John O'Donohue. It's called For a New Beginning. And it's one of my most favorites. It's beautiful. In out of the way places of the heart, where your thoughts never think to wander, this beginning has been quietly forming, waiting until you were ready to emerge. For a long time it was watched. It has watched your desire, feeling the emptiness growing inside you, noticing how you willed yourself on, still unable to leave what you had outgrown. It watched you play with the seduction of safety and the gray promises that sameness whispered. Heard the waves of turmoil rise and relent. Wondered, would you always live like this? Then the delight, when your courage kindled, and out you stepped onto new ground, your eyes young again with energy and dream, a path of plenitude opening before you. Though your destination is not yet clear, you can trust the promise of this opening. Unfurl yourself into the grace of beginning that is at one with your life's desire. Awaken your spirit to adventure. Hold nothing back. Learn to find ease in risk. Soon you will be home in a new rhythm, for your soul senses the world that awaits you. So Jeff is going to play some beautiful music, and it is time now to ask your heart and to write on your stone your greatest passions and desires. Let's all take a very deep breath right now. Just bring your attention back. And if you didn't have enough time, you know, you can do this at home. Listen to your heart and continue, and fill up all of the surfaces of your stone. I also want to invite you to take another stone to someone that you know would like to have one. I have plenty, so please feel free to do that, especially someone you know that couldn't be here today. And then help them through the meditation. So, I'm envisioning for all of us that we begin this new year with intention, with attention, and that we manifest all of our desires, because it is very, very possible. All things are possible if you believe and you use your thoughts to aim for those desires. It's very possible. And I also invite you to call on the universe, the angels, the light beings, the ascended masters, anyone that you work with, because they are wonderful. They want to help you through this process. They're happy to help us. And then, when you open up to this, put your seatbelt on, because you're going to go for a while. It's going to be fantastic. I can assure you. I've been on a wild ride for now, and it's just been amazing. So I want to say Happy New Year to all of you, and thank you so much.
I was surprised how easy that was for me. It just, like you said, just let your heart tell you where to go. The handwriting may not be the best, but I know what it says, and I know what the intentions are.
Right.
So, thank you.
And so does the universe.
And so does the universe. Attention, intention equals manifestation. Thank you very much, Donna. So appreciate your message today. Isn't that wonderful? And following Catherine's, what she did a couple of weeks ago, let it go, fill it up with this. Thank you. And again, there are more stones up here. If you know someone who might benefit from that, please help yourself, and thank you, Donna, for providing these. And the pen that you were given earlier, either return to the basket or leave on your chair, and we'll pick that up as we conclude our service. We share our offering basket this month and next with our community partner, Safe Outreach Services. Tuvia, just for a brief moment, would you share with us about SOS, what you know, if you've got the microphone right there?
The world, what it is, as we all know, is not perfect. And there are people who are confronted with crisis situations in their homes, domestic abuse, sexual abuse, verbal abuse, and they need a place to go. They need help. They need confidentiality. Our community partner for this 2 months is Siusla Outreach Services. Please hold them in your heart when the offertory comes around. Thank you.
Thank you, Tuvia. You know, our fellowship has been around for over 2 decades. I want to thank, what was the year? I lose track. I'm just going to say 2 decades. What was the year, Ray? It's a quiz.
It's gone, sorry, 2002.
2002. Okay, it's been around for 20 years. We, just so you know, and remind ourselves, we are self-governed. Nobody tells us what to do. We don't report to the mothership. There's no creed. There's no have-tos and musts. So we are free to do what we need to do. And one of those is we take a collection for our fellowship so we can continue to remain financially strong for our future. That's how we got here now. At one point, we had very little in our pocketbook, but through the years, we've been able to grow that, and we want to continue to grow that to make sure that we sustain what we have here for those who want what we have, so they can come through our front door, and especially when we get more chairs and more seating and can open back up in full strength. So I ask that you consider the generosity to not only SOS, but especially to this particular fellowship. And for those of you who are watching virtually, you too can contribute to one or both. You can send us a check to P.O. Box 2502, Florence 97439. You can indicate how much you would like to go to SOS and how much you would like to go to FOOF, and we will take care of it for you, okay? You can go onto our website, florenceuuf.com, and hit on the donate button, and you can donate through your own credit card. It's a pretty easy way to contribute and stay involved and stay connected. So I'm going to ask at this point, maybe Fred, maybe you'll help me on this side, and Catherine on this side. We're going to pass the basket to accept the gifts of this congregation. On one side of the basket is for SOS, on the other side is for FOOF. Before we enjoy the music by Jeff, as we pass the baskets to one another, please repeat after me. Divine love through me.
Divine love through me.
Blesses and multiplies all that I am.
Blesses and multiplies all that I am.
All that I give.
All that I give.
And all that I receive.
And all that I receive.
I am prosperous now.
I am prosperous now.
And forevermore.
And forevermore.
Blessed be. Enjoy the music from Jeff titled Follow the Dream. Stop right here. What was the title of that? Follow the Dream? Follow the Dream. Thank you, Jeff. And thank you all for your spiritual practice of giving. I know it makes me feel good whenever I can help out, and I know it must feel good for you as well. Thank you. So we've come to the conclusion of another fabulous Sunday. We've had some wonderful music from Jeff. We've got some great words. We've each got a white stone. We've got Diana with something about the pens.
Do we need to separate the clean ones from the ones that we've used?
No.
No? Okay.
Okay. Thank you. We'll just put them in the basket and Donna will clean them for the next use. Okay. So who wants to come up and extinguish this flame? Catherine, you want to come back up? So also we hope that you've reconnected with friends or perhaps made a few new acquaintances. We're going to extinguish, we have extinguished the flame. I offer these closing words by Eric Wickstrom. If you are who you were, and if the person next to you, that we did this last week, but it's still true. If you are who you are, and if the person next to you is who or she was, If none of us has changed since the day we came in here, we have failed. The purpose of this community, of any church, temple, zendo, mosque, is to help people grow. We do this through encounters with the unknown, in ourselves, in one another, in the other. Whoever that might be for us, however hard that might be, because these encounters have many gifts to offer. So may you go forth from here this morning, not who you were, but who you could be. So may we all. Blessed be.
Blessed be.
Donna asked that I share with you her closing words. I love this. As you hold the white stone in your hand, now or later, let it represent all that is new and good and holy and beautiful, and all that is in your heart. Let this little white stone be your reminder of all that you desire. Let it represent your willingness to live your life to the fullest, in great peace and happiness as the Creator desires for you. Blessed be, and thank you, Donna. Very special. So I ask that you please rise. We're going to form a circle around the chairs. Hold hands if you wish. Masks. And Jeff's going to lead us through our peace song. And remember, Catherine will be in the side room for affirmative prayer. Donna will be in the library to lead in a dialogue circle and her Raising Consciousness class. So whenever you're ready. Hey, Richard.